Hello, can you see me in there? Surprise, surprise, here I am. I am playing with Zoom. So let us see how I can. Let us see. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. This is completely random. All right, let's see. It is not flipped, so we might have to work on that because this is my left, this is my right, and you are seeing it the right way. Apparently, I see myself mirrored and you see me the way I see me. Or wait a minute. Okay. This is a techie playing here. I'm just going with the flow because that's what we're supposed to do. So let me know in the comments if you can hear me okay. How does this sound? What's going on, people? Let me see how I can minimize this. Let me see if it'll let me. I'm just seeing how this all works. We got the audio set up over here. Okay. It's picking up. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Now I should, aha, plug and play. We are plugged in. Now I have live chat set. So this is my iPad, so it looks different when the quality is a little bit less than the iPhone, apparently. So as I decided I would just randomly try this out, because in the future, maybe the quality of audio is better on here. You're going to have to let me know. So when you do tune in and tap into this particular broadcast, it is on, what's the word I'm looking for? It is on public, so you should see me. Let's see what my phone says. Doobie doobie doo. Fancy knowing you here, seeing you. My videos. Doesn't show under my videos. Okay. So there's my camera. Although sometimes it looks like I'm looking at myself because I'm over there. So we'll do this. Aha, there I am. And I have it so it zooms in on me. Zoom, zoom. It's kind of comical because to me, zoom, zoom. It does not look like I am there. It says upcoming. That's bizarre. It should be showing. Is it just not playing? Why does my phone show one thing, but it's showing here? So we started 3 minutes ago or so minute. No, it's been longer than that. Anyway. Technical difficulties? No, these are technical workings out. I have the plumber here today. Organizing, I'm accomplishing. I'm going to do this short video and then I'm going to the gym. I'm saying that to keep myself accountable because sometimes that is what we do. Aha, there it is. Okay. So here's a couple stories I want to share. Yesterday I was with my dad and I had manifested a triple window and I'm really excited about that because here's the deal. When you put out the call to the universe conspires to make things happen, to surprise and delight you. If you watched yesterday's video with James and myself, we were talking about signs, talking about numbers, right? And I literally, numbers are the way, numbers are the language of energy. We measure energy and frequency. Sorry about that. Energy is measured in vibration, frequency through the use of numbers. It's a code. It's the universal language is numbers. And what we feel has to have some sort of expression for those who don't necessarily understand that the five senses are our spidey sense. They're what enhances our intuition, the into me I see, the connection to source, which is you and all of us. So I manifested these windows, and I wasn't sure how we were going to pick them up because I figured my dad's bed was a little bit longer than the length, because I think dad's bed is 5 foot. And so these were just over 5 foot, closer to like 6 foot. And we got there and the window was heavy. And fortunately, the guys were smart, and we dismantled the windows, the actual panes, out of the frame, put the frame on top of the windows in the bed of the truck. Worked out perfectly, as the divine would have it, orchestrated perfectly. It made it easier to unload it as well as carry, because I'll tell you right now, there was no way me and my friend were going to be able to pick that thing up by ourselves, not without the frame bowing, because that's what was happening. So, okay, we get the frame to my house, but on the way from picking it up, my dad starts to get frustrated. And I know my dad, he's such a big teddy bear, he's such a love. And I know this for myself, and this is how I'm able to witness it in another. So this is a theme that is rampant: patience. Patience starts with self. It is one of the key tenets of this book, Power versus Force. It is one of the biggest lessons I learned as a result of reading this book. This book changed my life, on top of so many other things that I chose to focus on to grow for myself. Power versus force. Now, patience starts with self. Think about that. You know you have mastered patience when you are not triggered or losing it with others. And you know you've mastered it within yourself because you don't take it out on others. We're all a work in progress. But just consider the times when you get annoyed and frustrated by others around you. For me, jumping in the car and getting in traffic is the biggest trigger. It is the easiest test for me. I may have it everywhere else. I may have it with others, listening. I can hold space for others. I can be patient. I can be the voice, or I can be the listener. I can be the witness, or I can be the participant. I'm very adaptable to my surroundings. It's been a lesson, a life lesson for myself, to slow down and listen and not anticipate reacting or responding, or not looking for, like a lot of times when you're listening to someone, you're thinking about what you want to say next. And that takes you out of that receptivity of receiving what is being conveyed or said by the other. And the other person can pick up on whether you are holding them in a container, holding the sacred space for them with compassion and patience, versus I can feel like this person's like energetically trying to speed me up because they're on the edge of their seat and they want to say something in response. They want to, fear of missing out. They're afraid if they don't say it or get it out, they're going to forget it, right? I know this because this is an old pattern I used to have. And every once in a while I catch myself, but it's not like it used to be. So this patience with self is huge, because the triggers around us show us what we do or don't have with ourselves. It's always a mirror reflection. It's always a projection. We attract where we're at. Like attracts like. So if you feel, hi Valley, if you feel impatient with another, go within. Check within yourself. Where am I impatient with myself? Where do I not have the ability to slow down and hold another, that I don't have it for myself? See, everything outside of us is really cluing us back into us. It's I get frustrated, I get annoyed by this one or that one. It's not them. And even in the case of traffic, any type of going out into the world, it's a collective collaboration, people. The collective collaboration on the level of, you're driving in the car. Oh, that person cut me off. They almost they almost caused an accident. No, they didn't. Because God's source sent you there to be the earth angel, to be the witness, the observer, the guardian, brother's keeper. I am my brother's keeper, my sister's keeper. That if I witness, hello, playing on the words, thanks again. If I witness you cutting me off, that's because I was meant to watch over both of us. I was there to be an awareness. It shows how present you are to even notice that the other person may not be present. They may be a walking body with their mind outward, right? Like out of their mind and not in their body. This is a theme. This is the, when people talk about the apocalypse and the zombies, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about people who are not physically embodied. They're not in their bodies. They're out of their minds, literally and figuratively. We have a mental health crisis going on right now. It's a true statement. We all have a little something going on that we're trying to resolve, solving the issues that lie in our tissues, because when we suppress, the body will express what we have been rejecting, renouncing in ourselves. We want to avoid the confrontation, but the reality is the sooner you confront, the less it lingers physically, emotionally, and mentally. The inner work, go within so you don't go without. Don't try to escape. Don't try to get out of your body. Hello, that's why we're here incarnated in this physical existence, is so that we can have these varied experiences. So our spidey sense could be enhanced by our 5 senses. That our intuition, the into me I see, is a collaboration of 5 senses. The more hypersensitive, the more heightened you are in your senses, the more aware and intuitive you are to the world around you. So when you witness someone doing something and you get frustrated, a different way of looking at it, to flip the switch, is to acknowledge, thank you for letting me be the one who is present in this moment to witness and also protect the other, because you were sent in as an earth angel and guardian over that other person. That's a different way to look at the world, that you're not being inconvenienced by that person, but truly you're the one who was put there as a gift to the other. It's a huge shift in the mindset, is acknowledging that they're not there to delay you, to obstruct you, to give you problems. But in reality, you're there to be their earth angel and guardian just by your presence. The fact that you notice that someone else isn't paying attention is showing your presence in the moment. Remember what I say is that the present moment is where all of your consolidated power exists. It's not in the past. It's not in the future. It's here, now, and this. So when you see these crazy happenings around you, that in itself is a clue that you are here now in this moment. I'm talking about actually being physically embodied in your body, that you're not out of your mind if you saw what happened right in front of your face and you can see it for what it is. But part of that little switch in mindset is also bringing you into more presence of yourself. Hi, James. So being more present with yourself, it's a moral obligation. It's a collective collaboration. You were meant to witness that. You were meant to be the gift to the other person, the earth angel watching over them, that most people take for granted, and they just say, that other person, and they just go into this tirade, which takes them out of the moment entirely, because in their mind, they're not present. When you get frustrated, you're thinking ahead of the game. You're thinking where you needed to be or where you were headed to go, as opposed to recognizing now is all that exists. If you hadn't have recognized the aloofness of that individual cutting you off or what have you, if you hadn't noticed that, you probably would have been in an accident. But it's your presence that made you aware of their inability to be fully present that is getting you to wherever it is you're headed. And in a lot of cases, at least in my life, I've noticed that the more present I am to a situation, the more I recognize there's a reason for it, even if I don't see it. It's huge. So it's personal accountability, personal responsibility, and acknowledging that you are the gift. You are the gift in every moment. We are here as a collective collaboration. This isn't a one-way show. In fact, we are in the times where we need to connect to one another. We're not here to do it all on our own. You're not here to be a loner. You know, oh, I like animals more than I like people. You know what? Animals teach us to have more compassion and love and affection for other humans. We're not here to be loners or hiding out in caves or temples or Buddhist monks and have you. Those people still got to integrate with humanity, with society. Otherwise, it's just another escapism. I'm going to go up and I'm going to meditate. You still got to apply that. You got to integrate. So you can try to say that you're good by yourself, but even your heart knows better than that. You incarnated to be here now in this time with all the rest of us. So allow those triggers to raise your consciousness and awareness, because that's your clue of what it is you need to confront in you. A trigger outside of you is really amplified within. And okay, so James says the external and how others behave goes from negative judgment to recognition. And the irony is that they become our teachers through their actions. Again, we are all each other's teachers and students. I know some people don't want to hear that. They want to feel that humbleness of, you know, well, I admire this guru, so they're my teacher. And you being their student is also teaching them too. There's a saying in Kundalini yoga, and probably I've heard it elsewhere. If you want to know about something, you research it. If you want to, I forgot exact wording, so don't quote me on this, obviously. But basically, if you want to learn something, you research it. If you want to remember it, you do something else. There's like 3 things, but the ultimate is, if you really want to master something, you teach it. And I saw this years ago and never considered, because when I took Kundalini yoga teacher training, after all my other yoga teacher trainings and all the other things that I've been involved all my life in the wellness arena with kickboxing, aerobics, step aerobics, I've been in the wellness arena all my life. It's like, it's funny because you think, oh, I just want to take this class for myself to learn and grow from it. I'm not here to necessarily teach it. And then I went, oh, wait a minute. Like it clued in my mind that, yeah, I'm going to teach this. I've always been a teacher. That's just always been my role in this world, is I've always been someone who has facilitated a teaching of some nature. Whether it was when I was active duty military and teaching people how to use defense messaging systems, or when I was a contractor teaching, you know, other organizations and countries to use these computer systems. It's like, I've always been in a teaching capacity. It just comes natural to me, speaking in front of other people. So collective collaboration, people. We're not here to escape. We're not here to run off to the hills and think, oh, I'm just going to be better off by myself. You know, the idea is that humanity, we're all energetic beings. What you do to heal yourself heals one another. When you acknowledge how you're contributing, as well as how others contribute to you, again, that's the universe is getting excited for you. You know, we see the numbers, 404, there you go. 404, 86% on my iPad. Oh, 8 and 6 equals 14. I mean, the comedy, the divine comedy, it's 5 change, you know, the divine comedy, because I'm a tongue twister sometimes. The divine comedy of life is, again, how present are you in this moment? You know, we talked about the number signs the other day. Every time you see numbers, are they a common theme for you? In fact, it's 4:05. I told James twice, I sent him voice messages and they were 54 seconds. My mother was born on 11/29 of 54. That's my mom showing up. And funny enough, 11/29 is 11/11. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know what time she was born. I would not be surprised if she was born at 11:11 in the morning, because my mom was that woman. just to make you chuckle. So I just happened after, you know, my morning started, I went over and I have stickies all over my house of things that I've said, you know, things that I write down to remind myself, or when I'm doing some of my live videos. Change and personal responsibility. We have a moral obligation to ourselves to be mindful and aware of why and what we are choosing. Intentionality matters, people. Mindfulness and intentionality go hand in hand. If you are just blindly choosing without any idea as to why, well, I just felt called. Be a little bit more intentional and don't just assume, because a lot of times people will just accept it and never question it. And when I say that, I mean, you really want to tap into your higher self. And if you think there's an inner voice and it doesn't feel like yours, like you really want to go, is that mine? It might be the gremlins trying to infiltrate. As I said to James earlier, that I had a moment in my meditation where I was feeling like I was getting this push-pull energy, and I'm like, this doesn't feel familiar, and it does not feel like it's coming from me. Every once in a blue moon, there's 407, I was born in 74. Every once in a blue moon, I get these moments when I'm in a deep meditation that I get this calling to go, oh, I call back and reclaim my energy, given or taken, with or without my permission, here now in this moment. I clear any connections. I release any threads energetically, physically, emotionally, mentally, to anyone, anything, or any situation. This is just a random, it's the way it channels through me, but sometimes I get the sense to call back my power, my energy, fully in this moment, that nobody or no thing has any type of on me. And you have to know for yourself. Yeah, you have to know for yourself what feels like. Really tap into your feeling, because that's what's revealing what is yours. Learning to discern from your heart space, not from the head space. This, because I say it's the feeling that's real. It's not the head, because the head it's not the heart that leads you astray. It's the head that gets in the way. So the ego mind is all about consistency, certainty, control, predictability, familiarity. The mind wants to dictate and predict what will happen based on the past, but it doesn't know the future. So it can only compare to something that's already happened. It only freaks out, and you feel that, people who go through anxiety, it's because you don't know, but your mind is only freaking out because it knows it doesn't know. And so in a certain sense, that's an opportunity to get excited and actually challenge your own mind. Like, I'm getting cranky, I'm getting fidgety, I'm getting itchy, because in me, I feel a sense and need to control my environment. That's all anxiety really is. It's a hypersensitivity to having control, because in many areas of your life, you don't feel you have control. So you have to have a sense of control over your environment, because from the inside, you don't feel you have control over anything. It is really a lot of work that it goes into it. There is no saying it's going to take this long, or that you're ever going to get rid of it, or that you won't. It's about turning in and tapping into your inner wisdom. It's turning into your inner child. Play is the name of the game. Play is the way, because really it's the inner child that needs to be brought back out. The wisdom of the inner child knows that play is the way to heal. That we're not here to be in this, oh, it's so serious. Oh my gosh, we got to be protected here. And we got to take care of this, and we got to worry about this, that, and the other. The inner child has the wisdom to share that if you go out in nature and you just play, the universe and the world will surprise and delight you with all sorts of more to play. Because play is a form of gratitude. Play is exercising the fact that there's fun in everything that you do. So when you get into that modality, the playfulness, that is all your inner child. I mean, we're a bunch of adults who forgot how to play. We're a bunch of children in adult bodies running around trying to get our unmet childhood needs, fulfilled through one another, throwing temper tantrums. I mean, look around the world right now. But ultimately what it is we forgot how we wanted to play. We want to play. And we don't even realize the temper tantrum is that we're not getting our way in the way of play. We think we're not getting our way in another way because we want something. We're certain about what we think we want up here. But the heart is saying, the real way that I want to exert and express and feel is play, the play way. Oh my gosh, doesn't that sound silly? The way to heal is really recapturing the playfulness of the childlike self. The child within you feels rejected and abandoned when all it ever wants to do is come out and play with you. Can you see the divinity in that? Can you feel that? Does that resonate with anybody? Do you actually understand the power in that? That when you start playing, and something James and I were talking about earlier, so many people, and we were watching James True earlier too. People will label, actually I was watching something else as well regarding this, calling out evil. You're calling something evil based on your comparison to it. Whatever you label, you limit. Whatever you label is actually a comparison to yourself. We're always judging. We're comparing ourselves out to whatever it is we're judging. So it's a projection. It's not that it's good or bad. It's not that it's evil or it's light or whatever you want to call it. What it is you denying that, rejecting that. And guess what? That's also an aspect within you you're rejecting and denying. So when we suppress how we feel, we don't own our all. We don't own all the parts of ourselves as whole because we're fragmented, because we're only cherry picking the good stuff, and we don't realize it's also the other stuff that we've negated and we've rejected within ourselves that contributes to all the other stuff. You can't have one without the other, because this is the duality, the polarity. This is the yin and the yang, the good and the bad. Again, the imbalance is showing you where your work to do is. It's the imbalance is just showing you where you need to bring the balance back, where you need to come back to neutrality. The fact that you're judging something on the scales of justice, which is really just, again, it's duality. It's polarity. It's the feminine and the masculine. Okay, well, they both exist, but when they're balanced, they don't appear to exist at all. So when we come back to that neutrality, we reclaim ourselves as whole. We don't see the imbalances because we're balanced. Parts work, wholeness, inner child healing. All of this is a huge part of this life journey. And it's a play, which is why, again, all the world's a stage. That's why we're meant to play. So it's kind of a play on words, as I was saying the other day. It really, truly is. It just is, not justice, just is. Right? Exactly. I knew James would pick up on that. But funny enough, think about it. I mean, I got a Libra rising. So of course I'm over here doing the justice comment. It just is. Just is. Justice, again, this is also the play on words in the way that we see the benevolent and the malevolent. Every word has a dualistic meaning. Everything in life can be benevolent or malevolent. Just like you have a shadow and a light in the feminine and the masculine. And this is what we have to start owning and accepting. It's where your focus is, where attention goes, energy flows. If you see only the negative, that shows you're imbalanced too. That you're fixated on something more than you are balanced in it. I know because I used to see the negative in a lot of things, and it was real easy to see the negative. But at the same time, my mind would justify it and say, well, I'm always looking to solve things. Well, then you're going to find problems, aren't you? See how that energy works, is that will always come at us opportunities to fix if we see problems. Or we could be the victim of our circumstances and assume that everything just keeps happening to us. But you have to tune into that and be intentional with your thoughts and your attention and your energy, because you're paying for your experience. So again, currency of the thoughts, the frequency you emit, what you attract is where you're at. I had an interesting conversation with the local tax assessor behind closed doors. It was actually fun. The back and forth with him started out with me saying, let's just say I've been living under a rock. Wow, that's phenomenal. I would love to have been a fly on the wall for that one, gaining wisdom. Hi, Carl. Thank you for joining, everyone. If you want to share this elsewhere, let me know. Please let me know in the comments. Again, how are you doing on this fine Friday? Yay, yay, yay. Day of the Goddess. So I'm going to go back to change and personal responsibility. We have a moral obligation to ourselves and as well as others, because it starts with self. When we are accountable to ourselves, it ripples out and that affects others too. You cannot demonstrate or have compassion or patience with another until you have it with yourself. And when you recognize your impatience with others and those around you, all that's showing you is your work to do within you. It's really that simple. And when you get aware of it, you can be playful with it too. So it's not just in the ignorance. Like, for example, being mindful and aware and why and what you're choosing is not about just being in the ignorance of it. Like, oh, I'm just being guided. Oh, I'll just accept it. Where's that really coming from? Head, heart, ethers? Are you being programmed? Because if you're not mindful about your surroundings, you're taking in data through your five senses and you look around you and you've got a television on in the background, I just need it for noise, or the radio or what have you. Maybe you're watching something, maybe you're listening to something, maybe you are tasting something, you're finding memories pop up. Like, really pay attention to what you allow to influence you. Be intentional with what you allow into your space energetically and physically, because it actually triggers within you emotions, memories, because we're hypersensitive. We are sensitive beings. Hello, we are sensitive and sensible sometimes. So that mindfulness and that awareness of, like, what am I allowing to infiltrate? Are you filtering? See, filtration is filtering in. And then you have to also pay attention to what are your past experiences and those impressions that have been left upon you, whether they are resolved or unresolved traumas that also still trigger and awaken something within you. Again, going back to justice or injustice. Can you see things just as they are, just is? Because everything is neutral until you put your BS on top of it, right? Everything in life is neutral until you get emotionally and mentally, physically involved in it. When you make it personal, it is no longer neutral. Neutrality is the key. Choosing this or that is the trap. That's duality. Again, that's how we find peace. We find peace with our own self when we're neutral, when we no longer attach a meaning to it. We no longer label it. We no longer limit it. It's infinite. It just is. I didn't expect to say half this stuff. I'm glad I'm recording it. I'll be watching this one again. So every choice we make is our personal responsibility and accountability. It's about your integrity, your intentionality, your mindfulness, your awareness, your being present with your full essence, and sense. So 5 senses, sensitivity. I love playing with these words. It's all fun. It's all play. We just need to remember the way. We just need to remember. We tap back into that inner child. Somebody was saying, is it just called inner child, or is it called something else? Or maybe I'll just ignore that inner child. I'm like, no, You want to win at life? You want to win the game of life? You bring that inner child back out to play. Hello, I'm a Leo over here. Let's play. The child in you is what's going to keep you youthful. It's what the fountain of you want to know? The fountain of youth is in you. The inner you. Hello. Isn't that playful and fun? And I know from being abused as a child, you know what? Now we get to reparent ourselves. Those of us who've experienced physical abuse, been taken advantage of sexually, emotionally, mentally, all of it. It's been disempowering us, but it's a story we get to rewrite. We no longer have to allow that to be the story that we tell. We can tell a new one. When you're ready to drop that story, your life will change completely. And I know, because that's what I've had to do. I can retell the old story, but that's not what I want to do. I want to tell the new story. You know, this is the time we are creating the new script. The new script is empowering. The old script is disempowering. And that's when you're dissing your own power. Again, the languaging is key. And I love that James said the other day, tell me this is an insult to injury. We are all so excited when we were kids, we wanted to be an adult. Adult? When you break that down from adult to dolt, that's insulting. I'm not adult. But how crazy is that languaging and the spell casting that has been used against us? Always remember, nobody makes us choose what we do, say, act, or feel in any way. That's up to us. Choice is your superpower. Nobody has power over you. They may influence you, but it's up to you to choose whether or not you allow that power over you, because you're the one who gives it, right? You give your power, you allow. That's where we're at in the world right now. It has to be given willingly. So when something influences you, it's usually preying off of your old unhealed traumas. It's playing off of your old irrational emotions. The ones that haven't been owned within you are owning you and allowing that to penetrate you, that infiltration of influence. Self-recognize, become a parent. Yeah. We are our own parent to love the inner child. Exactly. We're reparenting ourselves. That's why I do the rebirthings, that essentially we are here to reclaim ourselves and remember where we came from. From whence we came is where we go. And this is the flow, the life, this is how we grow, is by remembering, reclaiming. It's a revelation. It's revealed from within, and then it's shown outside of us. So when we're influenced, it's usually because we put power outside of ourselves and we don't claim the power from within ourselves. We have to claim what is within us so the outside doesn't penetrate us. We don't let it have power over us. When we reject even what we consider evil, we are rejecting that aspect of ourselves, because we've all been that. There's no separation. It's just our interpretation based on our belief systems, our BS, that we have projected right and wrong, good and bad, evil and benevolent. But that's also been infiltrated and influenced throughout the course of our lives. We've been taught rules. We've been programmed to adopt these ideologies that aren't necessarily ours. And most people are waking up to this. That the dualism in the languaging, there again, you know, we talk about how there is nothing new under the sun. They have taken certain things and flipped them into something they're not. When you look at the craziness around you, whatever you want to call it, you can get really, really drawn into it. You can get sucked in, right? You go down the rabbit hole and you can't find your way out. That's when you need to get out in nature. That's when you need to go out and play, because that will be the healing way. that will be the way you disengage and you dissolve their power. They keep us distracted and in the lower vibrations by keeping us in the fear porn. Through the fear porn, we lose ourselves. And we're not here to buy into the loss. We're not here to be lost, because we're here to find ourselves again. It's kind of like a maze. It's the game of life. When I was younger, I always had this image like we were rats dropped into a maze. This is just the story that I've interpreted as far as the forgetting of the memories of the past, whether it's past lives or the childhood purity that we came in with, the essence and the knowing and the connection to source, because that is something that has always been with me. Sometimes it's been muted. Sometimes I haven't always been connected to it. I've lost my way and found it again. You know, we do that. Like, you know, I was lost and now I'm found. Beautiful poetry and such. Yeah. We're all coming back home to self. Hi, Pamela. Hi, I haven't seen you in a while, honey. I know. And I don't know. Make sure your notifications are set on your phones, your computers, or whatever your YouTube subscription is to my channel, because I've noticed, I don't know if my viewership's going down. I don't know if it's the algorithm, but I miss you. I love you. And I appreciate you for tuning in and even catching the videos with myself or James. And because we're here to uplift one another. Like, that's my mission. I am here to uplift, support, inspire, and hopefully that empowers you to be the best version of you came here to be. And I can only do that leading from the space of what I have learned from myself, from my journey, from my path, from my from my highs and my lows, my insides and my outsides. Like, that's the only thing I know. So maybe in the future, I'll even do some Zooms where I can bring some of you on. That would be really fun. Refreshing juices. Oh, sending you so much love. I'm so sorry for your loss. Grief. Yes, yes. Grief is a powerful teacher, isn't it? It reminds us of the cycles of life. And in my past videos, I talk about grief. Like, most people don't realize, whether it's a death, whether it's a major life change, we're all grieving something, right? During winter, we're grieving the flowers, we're grieving life, because winter is death. Winter is the time when we're in hibernation. So even during these times, it's like people are wondering, oh my gosh, thank God it's spring equinox, and I'm so ready to like burst out. I mean, it's been like fire this past week. It's been noisy. People are just like, I gotta get out, you know? You can energetically, palpably feel the tensions, the people who felt restricted, and whatever that means for each person, in the way that, I know for me, when I go out on the road, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's crazy out here. But it makes me chuckle. It makes me laugh. I don't have to drive too far, fortunately, for most things. But sometimes in the shortest little distance, I see the craziest things unfolding in front of me. So yes, spring has sprung. And so everybody has this sense of like relief. But not everyone's overcome their grief either. And so maybe there's still the twingings of like holding on and the inability to let go and go forward. But the awareness of grieving something that is lost, that will no longer ever be again, that's a huge honoring of your heart. And so being kind with yourself, being gentle with your heart, again, the inner child that says, oh, how may I console you? What is it you need in this moment right here and now? I love you. Please forgive me. So the Ho'oponopono prayer comes to mind. This is what just drops in. If you are in those moments and you're judging yourself for, I shouldn't feel this way, or I'm frustrated, The Ho'oponopono prayer is meant for you. Everything else is just irradiating out from your core. Your core, it is the, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Go back to your inner child. That's a beautiful prayer. It is such a powerful, and it doesn't get enough attention that just saying that a few times can really energetically shift you and shake things out. Allow them to move as they were meant to, right? So you can place your hands on your heart, just get a visual of yourself when you were younger. Really go into the core of your heart. Ho'oponopono, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Ho'oponopono, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Ho'oponopono, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And there are some beautiful recordings of this particular prayer, which is a Hawaiian prayer. And I love to sing it every once in a while. Like when my mom was in a coma and we were dealing with that, my sister really, she latched on to the Ho'oponopono prayer. And I know why. And it's important that we give ourselves that grace. Because when we get upset with others, we're really not upset at them. We're really upset with ourselves. Yeah. The projection out onto others is really coming from that space of, why did I allow? How could I have been so blind? How come I didn't see this for what it was? Or why didn't I trust my gut? All of that at the core of deep self-distrust, disgust, dis-ease with self. So the Ho'oponopono prayer is to heal that within you, so that when you project out, it comes from that heart space of love, that we're not projecting out the opposing negative mindset of it's the victimhood of the other person, but recognizing that it's not the other doing it to us, but we had done it to ourselves that allowed the other to do it to us. That is a huge healing in the collective right now that we are working through. This time of Aries that we are in is ultimately about the inner child work, the reparenting, the rebirthing of self, the reclaiming, the reclamation through the revelations of where this all originates within us. As adults, we are the parent of us now. Yes, we all have had something traumatic. There is no experience that is worse than another. Please don't compare yourself to someone else's situation and go, oh, they had it worse than I did. Please don't devalue yourself or another person. We are all equally traumatized in one way or another. When you see in someone something that breaks your heart, it's because something in your life has broken your heart before. The unhealed empath is still judging the other person's experience as opposed to just being in that space of neutrality because they haven't healed it within themselves. The healed empath sees the other. I see you. My heart knows your heart. And you too will find your way back to neutrality and no longer allow that to take you out of your power. Your peace is within, and it starts with forgiving self first. And guess what? When you get fully healed, there is nothing to forgive. Giving for. You were forgiven long before. It's you who judged you. Nobody judges us but ourselves. So in the end, it's us healing us, which heals all of us together. And that's the collective collaboration. That is the returning to self. That is the reclamation. That is the true revelation. That what we feel was done to us is usually the result of us doing it to us too. And we learned it through generational trauma passed on from previous. People don't abuse just because they abuse. They were abused too. So even in the case of looking out into the world and seeing the evil, the bad things happening, you still have to have the eyes of a child that says, I'm so sorry you hurt too. That you're still operating from a fear space. The evil does that too. I am that too, or I wouldn't even see it, right? That's the humbleness and the humility needed to heal this world. Do you really think we're going to ever rid the world of evil until we heal ourselves? In the past videos I've spoken about, this is the time to reclaim our power. And the revelation is really revealing to us that it's us. Everything you see around you is a reflection of what is not yet healed within you. Taking personal accountability and responsibility for the choices and the stories that you tell. That you, the master manifester of your life, you are the magician. You are the producer, the actor, the writer of your story, of this show. This is all a theater. Be the best version of you you can be. What is it you truly want to experience? Do you always want to tell the same story? Do you want to tell the doom and gloom, the disempowering story? Keep dissing yourself, rejecting, feeling bad? Whew, that's heavy. That's a lot of load and weight to bury and carry. To bear and carry. That's extremely, extremely exhausting. Because when you keep telling the story, you keep re-experiencing it. And that keeps that energy buoyed in that space that you feel like, why doesn't this go away? Remember Pigpen? Remember Linus from Peanuts? Like, the wowsy, wowsy, woo, woo, and oh, this keeps happening to me. Because the energy hasn't been cleared around us. And that's where we come back to the Ho'oponopono prayer. Everything starts with self. That felt really, really good. How did that feel to you? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, notifications bells. I don't want you to miss a beat. And I don't want to miss the gym. But see, for me, the gym is play. My inner child gets excited because when I go to my gym, it's like playground time for the adults. And I love doing the splits, and I love being flexible, and I love the fluidity in my physical body. Because I know the body is a reflection of the mind. If your spine is stiff and tight, that's because you have dogmatic beliefs. It's the backbone. It's important. If we don't have a strong backbone, how are we going to stand up for ourselves? If you feel weak and unable to speak up for yourself, start with the body. Strengthen it, because that will strengthen the mind. It'll give you the confidence. Exercise also, you create your own chemical cocktail of happiness. The oxytocin, the serotonin, the melatonin, all that stuff comes from movement, because movement is medicine. That's why I do what I do. Yay. Yes, your spine is your lifeline. Well, your lifeline is actually your sciatic nerve. Now, your spine is a reflection of your mind, because that's your belief system. If it's inflexible, it shows the dogma in the, you are all so beautiful. Oh, my physical practice. Well, I have coaches, because that's what we do. We need coaches to reinforce, to hold us accountable. That's why it's all about, like, I need an accountability buddy. It's really important you get somebody like that. A lot of times people will say, well, I'll do it by myself, because they don't want to pay. To me, it's an investment in me when I do what I do. I've had mentors and coaches over the years, as well as physical fitness type. I mean, for me, it's about that extra energy. The person who is already doing something is somebody you respect and admire, and they're showing you through their personal life. To me, I want to see the action of an individual inspire me into that action. Yeah. So with that said, I am going to sign off, and I so appreciate each and every one of you for making this. It was just a random, let's try Zoom, because Zoom is going to be a new way to do this YouTube thing. And I can still do it on my phone. I think the quality might be better, but this was just a test run and I wanted to see how it would work out. So yeah, I hope you all have an amazing Friday, Freya, the day of the goddess. Go out into the world, smile at others, make eye contact. Let your inner child out to play. That's what the name of the game is. Play. Play is the direction. It is the way. We're here to flow. That's how we grow. Let that inner child guide you. There's wisdom in you. Love you all from my heart.